So we're going to buzz through some training here this afternoon. This is the third time that I've done similar type training in this building. Raise your hand if you were subjected to my presentation. Oh, sorry. Oh my gosh. The jokes are probably still as bad. Courtesy laughs are appreciated as always. I do have candy again. I have an assortment of Snickers. For good participation, or if we see somebody maybe catching a nap or something, we might try and help you wake up a little bit by seeing if we can hit the target on the forehead with the little Snickers. I got the little ones so they wouldn't hurt too bad, you know, the little bite-sized ones, not the other ones. We have, for your dining pleasure, Baby Ruth, okay? If I happen to call on you, if you want to make a request, please do so. We have regular Snickers, and then I just discovered these peanut butter Snickers, but they're different than the other peanut butter. This actually has a layer of peanut butter in there, okay? Yeah, all right, we'll see how you behave there, sir. All right. And my wife would appreciate this one. She's a health nut. Almond butter Snickers, all right? So if you do, okay, yeah, Detective Hiley, thank you. Yeah, make sure they're not poisoned or anything. Look at that, yeah. Now, we don't have 150 of these, or however many people are in here, so we're going to have some sort of a system where you earn one, or if you start snoring, we'll do the target acquisition and see what we can do to help warm you up. Yes, Detective Hiley, I will mention his more official bio here coming, but SWAT officer, good shot. So yeah, don't test him. I heard some snoring. Oh, look at right here. There we go. All right. I like it. This is a live crowd. I love it. Management here may not like that I'm going to do this, but if you know anybody that's interested in going into law enforcement, either yourself, you just haven't told the boss yet, or if you've got family or friends or something, I do have some hiring brochures up here if you want to grab one of those. I told our recruiting office I'd do my part in helping to do that. So let's burn through what we're going to do here today, and we'll get you out of here in less than 4 hours. And okay, good, we're paying attention. So a little segment here that I always do when teaching a class is because you all do this, whether you want to admit to it or not, or maybe you wouldn't call people clowns, but we all say this in our head if you're subjected to some sort of a training, whether it's training or college or whatever, right? Who's this clown? Why do I need to listen to him or her or whatever it is? So this is the segment. This is a recent glamour shot Detective Hiley and I took just a couple months ago, and you'll notice that I did not have a mustache back then. The mustache is a very controversial topic. I don't think I had it a couple years ago either. Okay, this has caused a lot of marital discourse in the Tigner household. Detective Hiley can attest to that.
I don't live there.
Yeah.
Just hear about it.
Yeah, he doesn't rent a room or anything weird like that, don't worry. But yeah, mustaches, it's either you love them or you hate them. If you're a hater, just keep that to yourself, please. I don't need to hear it. I will give you my wife's number so you can call her and sign her petition to get rid of the creepy mustache. But I had it for a while. I was on motors for a while, and I got to have a motor mustache for a while, right? It's just like mandatory, right? And so I rocked it for a while, much to the wife's disappointment. And I got rid of it, gave her a 5-month break, and now it's on its way back. But it's not in full bloom yet, okay? So please don't judge quite yet. We're about... Yeah, I'll show you a picture later. Yeah, it's a whole process. But please, if you want to sign it... Yeah, if you want to follow Instagram, whatever. But if you want to support mustaches or any of the men in here, fellow mustache guys, you can sign my petition at the end so I can go show the wife. Here's how many signatures I got today. And anyway, I appreciate your support if you do that. All right, so who are these clowns? Here we go. Detective Hiley served in the United States Navy. Hoorah, very good. Thank you, Officer Hiley. He's been with us since 2006. Patrol officer, motor officer. He rocked the boots for quite a while. Field training officer, SWAT operator and team leader, and a heck of a swell guy and good at picking up chicks. Okay?
I haven't seen this, by the way. So
This is a surprise to him. This is a new intro. See that? Okay, so in his hand is a little chick. Okay, it's actually a little chick in his hand. And so I don't know what you guys thought about picking up chicks, but he's literally really good at picking up chicks. Okay? You like that, Steve?
I do, sir. Thank you very much.
All right.
That's awesome.
Yep. Continuing on with Detective Hiley here. Very involved in the community. There's a SWAT get up there looking sexy in the green outfit there. And then we did an event we call Cool Cops where in the summer we pick a park somewhere, bring out some water slides, some ice cream trucks, whatever for the kids. And little Steve-O over there in his police polo shirt went up on one of those tall water slides and went down it with the kids. And he's just an all-around cool guy. That's pretty. Give him a round of applause for going down a water slide.
It was not that big, so we had some fun. It was a good time.
We talk about all the dangers we face as police officers and dodging bullets and jumping fences and stuff. And water slides, okay? Water slides is a little-known hazard to us. Here's Steve's attempt at a mustache. Look at that. Kind of more the French look, I think, you know. But still a handsome guy, isn't he? Look at that. Man. All right, I'll get rid of that, Steve. So look, Steve can out bench press me by probably 200 pounds easily, but I think I got him on the mustache part. So anywho, you're welcome for that, Steve. All right, just a little rundown on me. I serve as a watch commander and a motor lieutenant right now. I used to be on the SWAT team, operator, sniper, blah, 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 blah. SRO means school resource officer. I used to be in charge of our school resource officers as a sergeant. And it is kind of at that time when around Sandy Hook happened, okay? And this stuff started kind of really taking off. And I mentioned in my previous presentations that I have 3 kids. My lovely wife, whom I adore and love very much, even though I give her a hard time about being a mustache hater. She's a school teacher, elementary school teacher, and I started asking her, what is your district doing to give you some training to deal with these types of situations? And it wasn't a whole lot going on back then. It was, drills, fire drills, earthquake drills. We would shelter in place, maybe hide under the desk or something, and we just kind of wait there and really kind of be very reactive to where now the philosophy is we're teaching people to be much more proactive in securing their safety. All right, so kind of the genesis of how this training came to be started back then, and we went to our chain of command and said, hey, we need to put something together and get this to our schools, our teachers, our principals, our superintendents, and it kind of really fanned out from there, and we started taking the show on the road, became quite the circus, and we go to churches, businesses such as yourself, and again, I tip my hat to the people, whoever's responsible for coordinating this training. It's very important. It's not a very pleasant topic, which is kind of why we try and interject a little bit of personality and funnies and some videos at the end, because it's kind of depressing to talk about the state of our world, that we're talking about having to defend ourselves against crazy people that come in and want to kill people in mass casualty events, right? So there we go. This was past Halloween. The mustache was a little more in full bloom there, but you really can't appreciate it quite yet. Just some glamour shots over the years, some SWAT stuff. I don't know if these pictures, I tried to add a few things. Barbie car stop there, on the car there. That was fun. She was speeding. You know what? I don't care. She was going 7 miles an hour on a posted 5-mile-an-hour street. Sign here, sweetheart. No, God, please don't take me seriously, all right? I like to, and overall, our department, when I plug our department or recruit our department, this is something that we expect out of our officers. Is on this day, I was just literally cruising through a neighborhood who was requesting motorcycle officers because cars were speeding through the neighborhood, running stop signs, stuff like that. So they called me up as the traffic sergeant. I said, hey, can you please help us out, just a little more visible presence in the neighborhood? And so we went up there, and so we have our guys and gals. If you have these opportunities to stop and interact with kids and have fun with them, do that. And of course, let's take a picture and put it on Facebook and all this other stuff. And okay, yeah, do whatever you want. So it's fun. And honestly, it keeps us balanced as well. Okay, mentally, I've been doing this job for 20 years, and it can beat you down if you're not straight on your priorities, whether your spiritual life, your family, how you decompress and de-stress. And I'm sure the same goes for your profession as well. You probably deal with some pretty wacky people every now and then, right? I'm seeing a lot of heads going, yeah, you have no idea, right? So, yeah, don't look at them right now if you're sitting next to the wacky people. Don't look at them right now. But I know, okay, I know you have to deal with some, yeah, right? That's the Batmobile over there. I got to stop the Batmobile. That was Catwoman threatening to assault me because I was citing the Batmobile. I wasn't really citing the Batmobile, okay? It was just, again, a little fun photo op where I got to sit in. That was a cool car. Anyway, okay, now, this is full bloom, all right? That's full bloom. So my point even if you think this training stinks today and this is a waste of your time, if I happen to stop you in the future, perhaps you make a little mistake while you're on the road, cell phone, whatever, maybe going a little too fast. If I stop you, because people like when they see me with, the gelled up, greasy hair and no helmet and glasses, like, man, that looks like a totally different guy, right? So if I stop you, if I'm rocking the mustache, look at the name tag, hey Tigner, hey, man, even if you thought it sucked, that training was awesome. Oh my gosh, that was the best training I ever had in my life, and you guys were so funny, and I love Hailey and the candy and all that stuff. So remember that mug, okay? And you got to tell me at first contact. So if I stop you and I walk up to your window, hi, ma'am, can I see your license, registration, blah, blah, blah. Yes, here we go, officer, I'm very sorry. Oh, hey, Tigner. You got to get it right there. Okay, you can't let me take your stuff and go back to the motorcycle because it's too late, all right? That means I'm writing the ticket. And if I come back and then you say, hey, Tigner, yeah, oh, man, you should have told me right from the beginning. Okay, are we clear on that? We good? All right, a little public service announcement. And anyway, yeah, I'm not good at a lot of things, as the slide says. I can't build you a house. I can't replumb a house. I can do light bulbs and basic stuff. But apparently I can grow a decent mustache, and I got to go with what God gave me, right? Do you guys know the little emoji sign for the mustache? I didn't know that, right? Isn't that cute? You guys see that? Yeah? It's a sideways mustache. All right, I know I'm spending way too much time on this. Okay, we got to get serious now. So I talk about this every time we do this presentation, and Detective Hailey is going to talk about this. We're going to differentiate between a hostage situation and an active shooter, because tactically, from a patrol and a SWAT standpoint, which we both have backgrounds in both of those areas, two different things. Okay, so we need to make it clear to staff. God forbid somebody comes in here and it takes hostages. I want you, gals and guys, to be aware that we are dealing with a hostage situation, not an active shooter. So you kind of have an idea of not to panic when the cops aren't coming barreling through the doors on a hostage thing, okay? Because if your expectation is you're being held hostage, where are the cops? How come they're not busting down the doors? They're not coming down on zip lines, busting through the windows and blowing stuff up. There's reasons for that. Tactically, they're different situations, okay? So, Steve-O, you want to, I'll hand you the mic for purposes of our TV show back there.
Thank you, sir. Okay, so by a show of hands, who can tell me what they think an active shooter is? Just throw some ideas at me. You don't have to raise your hand. I'll call on you. But what do you think an active shooter would entail? You being in your office, in your place of work, and it going active shooter. When that hits your brain, and I say active shooter, what comes to your minds?
Somebody busting in, actually shooting away.
Okay. So anybody else anything different than that? Yes, ma'am.
Intent isn't so much to scare or to hold people, it's just shoot around them.
Right. So to basically just elaborate on what you two ladies said, this person or persons is looking to basically cause chaos and eliminate, kill, whatever the word you want to use, and cause destruction wherever they're at. This typically happens at, we've all seen the majority of these go down as schools, businesses, places where there's large crowds of people. We've all seen on the news, right? Social media, everything like that. So the biggest thing I want to put in your head is active shooter is, and LT will get to the hostage point. They're there just to kill people or hurt people. That's it. Okay? And I'll let LT get into the hostage side, but that's their main intention, first off the bat. The second thing I wanted to point out is, from a police standpoint, a law enforcement standpoint, is what do you think will happen when police officers hear that there's an active shooter going on? What's your first reaction? When I say you notice it's happening, you hear gunshots where you're at, what pops in your brain? What's that?
The cops are gonna take them out.
Okay. Anybody else different than that? Sir. Right? That's all.
Please.
They're gonna try to protect the public.
Yes, and I'll get to that. So protect the public, call for backup. Hit the button, hit the panic button. Okay. So by a show of hands, did you want one, sir? Gotta tell him your flavor, else he's gonna start throwing. I know, I've seen him before. Almond? All right, that's a healthy choice. That's what we're doing.
Ready? Ma'am, duck, there you go.
Sir, did you want one? He'll take whatever you got, LT. He's not picky. There you go. So let me just see if I can get show of hands. By show of hands, who thinks that when the officers get there, that they're going to help people? And what I mean by that is when an active shooter is going on, we have somebody killing people. Who thinks when I come there, you're bleeding, you're shot in the chest, you're shot wherever you are, that I'm going to stop what I'm doing and come to your direct aid and render medical aid or whatever I can do, get you out of there, what's have you. By a show of hands, who thinks I'm going to do that? Okay, good. And that's probably my biggest, or one of my biggest facts or points I want to make. And I tell people is that when I hear the active shooter, can you guys hear me on this thing? It sounds like it's not going. When I get that response, even though I am on the SWAT team, typically the SWAT team will not respond quickly to an active shooter. It's going to be, honestly, the closest police officer or police officers in or around the area that the active shooter is happening, okay? Because it's about response time. SWAT teams take a little time. So if I am in the area, close by, which we're only roughly 7 square miles, I'm going to, in my brain, start processing, I need to eliminate this threat. So when I come on your business, a school, wherever we're at, my main focus is to seek and eliminate that threat, okay, with my team. So it's either be by myself if I want to wait, or if I don't wait for backup. That's obviously depends on training and time and what's going on. But that will be my first thing. So what I want to impart on you is in an active shooter, I know when we have the fight or flight stress and a lot of stuff's going on, panic, what you would want to do when that first officer shows up is give them information and do not rush them. I need help, help me. I'm shot, my friend's shot, because they're going to ignore you. Okay, they're going to go right past you. The best thing that you can do is tell them information. Where the shooter's at, what they look like, what kind of weapon, are there one or more shooters? Anything to give them a heads up and to better give them an advantage of where this person's at and how they can eliminate them. Does that kind of make sense? Okay. Trying to think. As more officers get there, either before or after, well, I'll just put it like this. If the threat's not eliminated within the first, let's say, 6 officers there, they're going to try to eliminate the threat. Once that threat is eliminated, then we will then have more resources. We'll get fire in there, medics in there, and we'll try to help the wounded and evacuate them. Does that make sense as well? Okay. Any questions on that? Anything I'm not being clear on or need to explain further? Yes, ma'am.
So when you say that it takes time for this truck to get it to the, what are you looking at, like pulling resources to get here?
Right.
Getting in gear? It's
Right.
like time-wise.
Okay, so every city, county is different. Who lives in La Habra? Okay, who lives in Placentia? Placentia? Okay, Brea? Fullerton? La Palma? Okay, nobody? So La Habra is part of a regional team. It's called North County SWAT. Okay, because we're on the northern area or geographically of Orange County, and we encompass 5 cities, the 5 cities I just mentioned. La Habra, La Palma, Brea, Fullerton, and Placentia. So if you live in any of those 5 cities, you will get the North County SWAT team to respond to whatever incident's occurring. So let's say we have an active shooter at this building. You're not probably going to get SWAT. You may get people that are on SWAT, such as if I'm at my desk, I ride a desk, I'm a detective, right? If I hear it on my radio, I'm going because I have the extra training, the extra experience to do that. But typically, and to be honest with you, you'll probably get the patrol officers they'll beat me because they're already out in the field. Does that kind of make sense? So it's whatever you have right at that time. And we have patrol officers, several of them that are on SWAT team, and they have the extra training, but it could be them, it could not. The reason I'm bringing that up is because the SWAT team needs to be called, so it takes time. And typically, these are, and I think LT covers it in his PowerPoint, they last from anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes. And that time, the guys that are on the SWAT team that live in wherever they live, let's say somebody lives in Anaheim, the incidents here, by the time they get the call and get here, it's already going to be usually over with. Typically, if that makes sense. And then the hostage point of it, it's completely flipped, and LT will cover that. You want to go into that?
If we're talking an active shooter, I'm going to use this. Whopper, no cheese. Whopper. Did anybody, like, when you go to Burger King, anybody else want to do that? Like, be the person, like, I want to be the person that talks into the, Whopper. Anyway, that's it. When I came here to do this thing, that's what it reminded me of. I'm going to try and, or In-N-Out, yeah. All right. So if it's an active shooter, what Detective Hiley is talking about is the first 4 or 5 patrol officers or motors or detectives at the desk are grabbing their stuff, and they're coming here. And if somebody's actively shooting, we carry stuff like this, a ballistic helmet. They're going to throw on their ballistic helmet real quick. This is simply a giant purse that gets thrown over your shoulder, and it has extra magazines, extra rounds, gunshot trauma kits, extra handcuffs for securing suspects, room ID markers, stuff like that. They're going to grab this, throw it over real quick. Steve, you want to hold up the plate carrier? And our patrol officers are outfitted. So we wear soft vests underneath the uniform. Like I have a soft vest on right now that helps to suck it in. It's like a girdle, functions as a girdle as well. But we would take that. This would be in the trunk of our cars as well, and we take that and we throw that over the uniform just like you see here. So you got the soft vest in addition to, and it's heavy.
If you want to come lift it, this is probably 25 pounds, maybe. Not including magazines, trauma kits, whatever. So if you want to come look, just food for thought. Okay. But that's what he's talking about.
So this is equipment that not just SWAT guys have this stuff. We outfit all of our patrol officers with this basic equipment because they're the ones that are going to be here within a couple of minutes at most. The SWAT team takes some time to assemble, usually about 45 minutes to an hour, because they're off and they got to get the equipment truck here and get suited up and all that stuff. So Columbine, and the shooters on the right were Columbine, that helped change some tactics in law enforcement. Okay, we can't afford to wait for the SWAT team. If people are being actively hurt, shot, killed, stabbed, we got to pony up, comb the mustache and go. You know what I mean? We don't have time to mess around, okay? And we're going in. And Detective Hiley mentioned that if it's an active scene and people are running out and maybe they've got some blood on them or maybe they took a round and everyone is evacing out and we're coming in, we are not going to tend to the wounded if things are still dynamic. If things have settled down and no one's being actively hurt, we change gears a little bit. But if this guy's still in here and hurting people, the first 3, 4, 5 officer team, we're rolling in, okay, and we're going to go deal with it. And most likely, if the guy or gal doesn't surrender, they will either kill themselves, usually, or they will do something, point a gun at us, and force us to kill them. Okay? None of these are happy endings. Active shooter incidents, suspects are usually have pre-planned this for quite some time. They have prepared for it. Mentally, they know that they are likely going to die this day, whether they take their own life or whether they force a confrontation with law enforcement and they force law enforcement to shoot them. But they're prepared to die, okay, mentally. All right, so that's the active shooter response compared to a hostage situation where if it's a hostage situation, that person usually is not intent on killing a bunch of people. They're upset for some reason. Maybe they didn't get proper dental care here or, proper health care or the counseling session didn't go well. I mean, I know there's a lot of different fields that go on in this huge building, okay? There's something that they're upset about. Sometimes they've lost their house. Maybe they're angry and their motive is, I'm pissed at the government and the financial institutions that took my house. There's something that is motivating them. They don't necessarily want to come in and kill a bunch of people, but they want to get a message across. Or if somebody does a bank robbery and they go in and they rob the bank and the cops get there too quick and they go to do their escape, they look outside, oh, there's a cop car. And they go back in the building and now they have, they're forced into a situation where now I don't know what to do. Now I'm stuck. I'm desperate. Okay, and those are the situations where tactics are changed, and we will contain the problem wherever that is, and we will attempt to establish communication with them and talk them out and see if we can end it peacefully. While the SWAT team is on their way, while crisis negotiators are on their way, while they set up snipers at different locations in order to gain intelligence, and if somebody did come to a window with a hostage and they feel like he's really going to hurt somebody, that sniper has the ability to end that right there. Okay? All right. So we good on that? Any questions on those two situations? All right. Very good. Yes.
Actually, I have a question for the active shooter part. What if you get multiple different information?
Right, and that could come in a couple ways. Maybe whoever is calling our dispatch, you have your cell phone, maybe you're not there, but you're 911, hey, we have shots. And then if you're contacting officers coming in. So that will be dependent. Our dispatchers are trained to deal with that, and they will ask you questions to kind of cipher that down to what we need to know. But just, if I could put into your heads that if this were to happen, maybe at work, maybe wherever you are in your daily life, what we want to know, how many people, what they're wearing, and if they have a weapon or what kind of weapon. If you can remember those three things, that gives me a huge amount of info. I know that's kind of a lot. And again, we get that fight or flight response, and this happens. But if you can do that'd be huge. Just keep it simple. That kind of makes sense.
And that will happen. We will get multiple. It happens in any sort of crime. It doesn't have to be as serious or as chaotic as an active shooter. Any sort of crime, we always get differing witness accounts. Some people think they're 5'8". Some people thought he was 6 foot. Thought he was wearing red pants. Well, actually, they turned out to be purple. You're gonna see that sort of difference in witness accounts. Can you guys believe it's been 20 years since Columbine? The anniversary just clicked over on April 20th. I couldn't believe that. But look at everything that's happened in that 20 years. And I'm sorry to report, The last time I was here, I'm sure I said something to the effect of more stuff is coming, and it did. And from this day forward, after we've had our training here today, more stuff's going to happen. Unfortunately, I guarantee it in the society that we live in. All right? So it's really not, I don't want everyone to be paranoid, but we want you to be prepared. And we just did another refresher training at Sonora High School just a couple weeks ago. And after the training again, we did it 6 years prior. And after the second time we just did it again, one of the teachers, after everyone has left, one of the teachers came up to Steve and I and said, you know what, I was at Route 91 Harvest Festival in Las Vegas when that went down. And she survived that. And she said, I got to tell you, the training that you guys gave back then helped me to survive that. As far as what to do, stay calm, be on point, that sort of stuff. And she, she's crying. I mean, emotions coming out. She's got post-traumatic stress she's dealing with. It's like being in a combat zone when you see that kind of stuff go on. So we don't want you to be paranoid, but it could happen. Okay, whether you're here at work or at Disneyland or Kohl's or Brea Mall or wherever. All right. All right. Let's keep this thing rolling here. If any of your neighbors are trying to read the inside of their eyelids, you might want to help them out and wake them up. Just do a little neighbor check here real quick. Give you guys that opportunity. I won't call anybody out. All right, we all did neighbor check? Okay. Anybody have like a good, clean joke they can share for a Snickers bar that you need if you need a little wake up? No? Okay. Did you guys hear about the fire at the circus? It was intense. I gave you guys first crack to tell a joke. I told you they're bad. They're intense. Intense, circus tense. Okay. I want to thank you for that. That's been like a wonderful response to that joke. It's not always that good. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, wants candy, huh? All right. So something's changed in our country, okay? And this is just, we can get into a whole philosophical debate here on gun control. But I will tell you this. If you think about it, I take a fully loaded assault rifle, like the one Detective Hiley's SWAT rifle right here, and let's say, just for sake of argument, in front of a school, let's let the grass grow 5 feet high. Nice, thick grass. And you take that rifle and you drop it in the middle of that grass that's right in front of the school. And you leave it alone. Guaranteed no one's going to see it. No one's going to touch it. It's just there. And it's pointed right at the school. That rifle's not going to shoot anybody. The rifle's not going to go off. Okay? The rifle is a piece of equipment. It takes the will of someone to kill. It takes the will to kill. And so something has changed in our country, okay? Because guns have been around for centuries, right? But all these mass shootings have really only come to light in the last 20, 25 years. And they're going to continue. So what's changed? Okay, it's our society, and I can go into my personal beliefs, but I'm sure the psychology field has a field day with this as to what goes on. And there's all kinds of PhD studies and thesis studies that are examining this. But this is what kids play with these days, right? And I'm all for, hey, I played Army when I was a kid and rubber band guns, and, we all do that stuff. I get it. I had wrist rockets, and we go in the fields and, all that stuff. I get it. But this stuff is what our kids are playing with, and you couple that with the video game industry, which again, I love me some video games. But when there are first-person video games that give points for killing, Okay?
Is there much of a difference? Other than the
Not really.
Not really, right? Have an optic. Have an optic, but if you took this orange tip off,
There's the optic. You can just put it on right there. Comes with an optic. The pistol on this, same style pistol that I carry, 1911 style. The video games are first person, right? So you're looking through the TV screen, you're playing the game, and the graphics were far from in television and Nintendo, Zelda, Zelda. Remember Zelda used to, like when he used to do the little sword that shot out. That was crazy, right? You got the little sword that shot out. You're like, man, that's awesome. But we're not there anymore. You know, Super Mario Brothers, all that stuff. Now these games are rewarding violence. They're encouraging violence. And when violence occurs in the video games, the graphics of what happens to human bodies when they're hit by gunfire explosions is very realistic. Okay, so you play a video game on a screen this big, and you're looking through a scope on the video game, and you find a head, and you pull that trigger on your controller, and boom, the head explodes. And it looks very realistic. Okay? Our military will use these types of games to desensitize our soldiers. So the first time they see a head that actually explodes when a round goes through it, it's not the first time they've seen that. Okay, we're conditioning. It's called mental conditioning. All right? So just be aware of that. You know, and the class is not about that. I'm just saying, if we just look at it very simplistically, guns have been around forever. Remember the example of dropping the rifle in front of the school? Guarantee no one's going to touch it. You can even put a block wall around it, whatever, fence, whatever. That rifle will not hurt anybody. It takes somebody to do something to the rifle, to activate it, to pull that trigger. That's where, in my opinion, where our focus needs to be. Okay? So have that discussions with your families, or if you have small kids, just think about that. I'm not telling you how to raise your kids, but just be aware of it. Okay? FBI released a report for 2018. Detective Hiley touched on it, but here's some numbers for you. Active shooter incidents last year in 18, 27 of them in 16 different states across the country. Now, we're not talking about gang shootings or stuff like this. These are certain criteria from the FBI. These are 27 incidents that have met the criteria for the FBI to be called active shooter incidents. Pretty alarming, okay? 213 casualties, 85 killed, 27 shooters, 23 male, 3 ladies, which is, we're seeing more of that now, okay? And 1 is still at large. Go ahead, Steve, if you mind. So we have some of the videos that we're going to show, and let me touch on this real quick. Like Steve said, of the 27, 16 occurred at businesses. They're looking for soft targets, targets that are easy to get into, where they'll be easy victims. 5 occurred in education environments, 4 in high schools, and 1 in the middle school. And I'm glad to report that schools are taking a much more proactive approach in hardening school targets. Now, hardening means a lot more fences are going up around schools. If they didn't have fences, La Habra City School District is big on that now. They're doing more controlled access points to where you can't just walk on campus, that sort of stuff. And they're providing this type of training to teachers. And it's a little bit different when I teach this to teachers because they're responsible for 20 to 30 kids at different ages. So the run, hide, fight, which I'm sure those who were subjected to this a couple years ago, I'm sure you guys remember run, hide, fight. It's the same mantra that's being pushed out there. Remember, teachers don't have the ability to just run out the back door and leave their kids to fend for themselves. They're responsible for those kids. So we have to teach that a little bit differently. Go ahead, Steve. So this is again why we're here, is just to mentally prepare and to have some things to think about. God forbid something like this happens. All right. Some of the videos that we'll show might be the same. So if you've seen them before, if you really do need to take a nap, that would be a couple minutes where it would be permissible to do that. I won't throw Snickers off your forehead. But a couple more videos, hopefully, you will not have seen. In your management here, I'm sure either does or will, you guys need to have some plans in place to where if something happened and you had to evac, or what are the protocols, safety protocols for the building here. So they're kind of, yeah, and who pays attention to that stuff? Okay, I get it, but you might want to pay attention to that stuff. Okay? All right. Go ahead and hit that, Steve-O. Did we use this graphic last time? Anybody was subjected to this? All right, so what we're trying to get across is we want you to be the cute mama and papa bear with the cubs, and they're really cute and fuzzy, and everyone loves bears, teddy bears. Now, granted, in the wild, papa grizzly bears are not the best fathers, but just go with us on this analogy here. But if something happens to where somebody's coming into your place of business here, or if you work somewhere else, or your home, we want the inner fight to come out in you, like this next slide that Steve's going to hit the button on, to where, you know what, you are not going to hurt me, you are not going to hurt my family, you are not going to hurt my coworkers, I'm going to jack you up, okay? And it's really having that will. And we talked about the will to kill. I'm not saying you got to go right to the will to kill, but you got to have the will to engage and fight back if you have to. And it's okay to do that. Sometimes people just need to hear that it's okay to do that. So wait, Tigner, you're telling me that I can grab a pair of scissors and stab a guy if he comes in the office and is trying to shoot me or my coworkers? Yes, you can. Okay? Yes, you can. If you are defending yourself or someone else from great bodily injury or death. You're just going to have to articulate that when the dust settles and when the officers, detectives come in to do the investigation. They're going to ask you, tell me what you were thinking. What was in your mind? What is your state of mind? Were you scared? Why were you scared? Well, the guy had a large gun and he was firing it. Okay, thank you. Okay, that all needs to be documented, and if it's properly documented and you convey that, you will be fine. The law protects you in that regard. Okay, we good? We good on that? Okay, so this is what we want, and this is what I tell teachers is that's who I want defending my kids. If my kids are at school and I'm not there with them, and you're responsible for my kid, that's what I want defending my kid. Okay, so we want to empower you. We want to empower the teachers for that to come out. Not everybody has really thought about this, or maybe not everyone is so inclined to have this come out, but it has to be there if something like this happens. All right, we're going to show video. We never do presentations without videos, candy, props, bad jokes. So let's go to the first video. Let's see if it plays here. Say it one more. It should play automatic.
It may feel like just another day at the office, but occasionally, life feels more like an action movie than reality. The authorities are working hard to protect you and to protect our public spaces. But sometimes bad people do bad things. Their motivations are different. The warning signs may vary, but the devastating effects are the same. And unfortunately, you need to be prepared for the worst. If you were ever to find yourself in the middle of an active shooter event, your survival may depend on whether or not you have a plan. The plan doesn't have to be complicated. There are 3 things you could do that make a difference: run, hide, fight. First and foremost, if you can get out, do. Always try and escape or evacuate, even when others insist on staying. Encourage others to leave with you, but don't let them slow you down with indecision. Remember what's important, you, not your stuff. Leave your belongings behind and try to find a way to get out safely. Trying to get yourself out of harm's way needs to be your number one priority.
Stop that guy! Stop that guy! Hey!
Once you are out of the line of fire, try to prevent others from walking into the danger zone and call 911.
Yes, we're here to watch this video. Help us! Help us!
If you can't get out safely, you need to find a place to hide. Act quickly and quietly. Try to secure your hiding place the best you can. Turn out lights, and if possible, remember to lock doors. Silence your ringer and vibration mode on your cell phone. And if you can't find a safe room or closet, try to conceal yourself behind large objects that may protect you. Do your best to remain quiet and calm. As a last resort, if your life is at risk, whether you are alone or working together as a group, fight. Act with aggression. Improvise weapons. Disarm him. And commit to taking the shooter down, no matter what. Try to be aware of your environment. Always have an exit plan. Know that in an incident like this, victims are generally chosen randomly. The event is unpredictable and may evolve quickly. The first responders on the scene are not there to evacuate or tend to the injured. They are well trained and are there to stop the shooter. Your actions can make a difference for your safety and survival. Be aware and be prepared. And if you find yourself facing an active shooter, there are 3 key things you need to remember to survive. Run, hide, fight.
Okay, so who saw the lady that was kind of freaking out and thought it was funny? Show of hands. I heard some people chuckling, right?
It happens every time, so don't worry about
It happens every time.
Everyone goes, "Oh my God, lady, get it together," right?
He's right. So as I looked around the room, I saw some people chuckling and laughing. But let me just kind of be serious with you for a moment. That will happen. If you guys have not been in a life or death situation before, that absolutely will happen to at least 5 people in this room. Okay? I know it doesn't get funny when we talk about it like that, but as I mentioned before, the fight or flight response, when you are overwhelmed with stress, especially life-threatening stress, will overcome some people, and that's exactly what you will get. How we combat that is we have a plan, and we try to stay level-headed and rehearse these things. So one thing I'd like to impart on you guys is everybody in this room works here. They're actually here 8 hours a day for their whole shift. And they have different workspaces or an office or something like that, a lab or, okay. And I don't mean to jump on your toes, LT, but when we leave here today, please do me a favor, your family a favor, yourself a favor, your coworkers a favor. Go back to these places and just start thinking about, what if this happens? What do I do? What's my route of escape? How many escape doors or hatches or avenues do I have to get away from where I work? Who's around me? Right? Who can help me? Who can I help? Because that will happen. That absolutely 100% will happen. So then we have to help those people help themselves. So just, if I could just leave that with you and be serious for 1 second, and I'll kick it back to you.
All right. So, for some, we got to get rid of some of these Snickers. I'm trying to lose LBs, not leave with all these, and because you know who's going to eat them? Me. So let's see. If you are going to be hiding, raise your hand, please. Throw out one thing that you're going to do to effectively hide. Silence your phone. What is your Snickers of choice, or Baby Ruth? All right, I got to go to the store. I'll be right back. We'll get you Reese's. Hey, look at it. Atta girl. All right. That was good. I love this crowd. Awesome. All right, silence your phone. We don't want to turn it off, right? Because you want to be able to communicate maybe with your loved ones, but you got to make sure it's silent. Or you could be providing information to law enforcement as to where you're at, if you've got gunshot victims with you, that sort of thing. Okay? We don't want to turn it off because that's a vital tool of being able to communicate. But nobody wants to be there. You don't want to go through all the hassle of hiding effectively, moving things, and doing all kinds of stuff. I don't want to give you the answers to more Snickers questions. But you don't want to do all that stuff and, okay, hey, we got this, man. We nailed this. And then, bring, you be, oh, my gosh. Who didn't silence their phone, right? All right, so, hand, what else should we be doing if, whoa, man, we're hiding.
I think, yes,
Go ahead.
Okay, lock the door.
Lock the door. That's awesome. That's, yes, very good. Another Reese's. Look at, all right. Okay, so we got silence the phone, lock the door. What else? Go ahead, Steve. We can call on somebody. Now this is the hide phase.
look for weapons to protect? Yes.
All right. There's a mama grizzly bear over there. All right. Looking for weapons. Atta girl. What else? Go ahead, Steve-O.
Turn off the lights.
Excellent.
One. All good? Ready?
All right, we'll look for one more thing.
Hide behind large objects.
You got it.
Okay, very good. And we want to know, and this is where knowing your individual workspaces is very important. I mean, we can talk about this room, but no one works in this room on a day-to-day basis, I think. But you know your workspaces, you know your office or conference room or whatever it is. You need to know whether the doors are inward opening or outward opening. Maybe nobody ever thought about who the heck pays attention to that. But we should, okay, because it depends on, that could determine whether you stay or go or how you're going to barricade the door, that sort of thing. Okay, you start paying attention to this kind of stuff. Okay, we are going to watch another video.
If I could go one more
Yes,
thing.
here,
When we
let
went
me get
back-
you the mic for,
When we went back to when LT was talking about the mama bear with the cubs, who works with children here? So at least half or a majority. And is it common for you folks in your duty throughout the day to be either alone with or in a room with caring, assessing, whatnot. So if that hadn't clicked already, maybe that's something we could start thinking about as well, that if I have a child that can't defend themselves or doesn't know what to do, they're young, we really need you to come out like that mama bear. Because what if that was your child, right?
A morning that began like any other turned tragic today.
Whopper with no cheese. Whopper. Okay. I got to do it every time I talk into this one. It's fun. I don't want to go walk over there and get the microphone just to say this. So this is produced by LA County Sheriff's Department. This is a little more graphic in how they made the movies, like Steven Spielberg directed it, or maybe like Tarantino. A little more with the, I don't know. But just to assure you, no one gets hurt. You know, they do some scenes where there's some close-up gunshots and fake blood and stuff like that. So I just want anybody to be freaked out. Okay.
Began like any other turned tragic today when an employee opened fire on his supervisor and fellow coworkers.
Students, parents, teachers are asking why today, after a bloody rampage, plunged this campus into tragedy.
Details are just coming in, but we're being told that a heavily armed gunman opened fire this evening at the mall food court behind me. There's no official word on any casualties yet, but one eyewitness reported seeing at least 6 people shot.
Active shooter. A gunman or gunmen killing or attempting to kill people in a confined, populated area.
You gotta get some sleep. You're looking like a vampire.
You sleep. You ain't got no babies at home keeping you up.
What the hell? Sim again.
We've tried. I'm sorry. We're gonna have to let you go.
Active shooter killings are a tragic, unpredictable reality, and one that's becoming more common.
Since 2006, the U.S. has averaged an active shooter event with 4 or more deaths every 2.9 months.
Even though the number of active shooter events has been increasing, your odds of being involved in one are still very slim. But just like fire drills and earthquake preparedness, making a plan in advance can make all the difference.
Yeah, but lizards live in tanks. I mean, it's probably fine.
If you do find yourself in the middle of a senseless attack, the why doesn't matter.
Hey. Hey, buddy.
Hang on, something's happening.
What matters is surviving.
On average, 20 mass shootings take place in the U.S. every year.
Killers usually choose their victims at random. They look for easy targets. So the harder you are to see or to hit, the safer you are. When an attack starts, if you can find a way out of the location, do so.
Get out.
If you stay calm and think clearly, even in the middle of a life and death event, you improve your chances of making it out. Visualize your movements in advance.
What are we gonna do?
Look at me. I can get us out. Stay behind me. Stay now.
Use cover, something that will stop a bullet, and concealment, something that at least keeps you out of sight.
Attention South LA units, code 3 response needed regarding a 245 DSV 417. This will be at the Town Center shopping mall. Suspects wearing a face mask, possible body armor.
Use any available means to get out, including emergency exits or windows. Most restaurants and retail locations will also have exits in the back, through kitchens or stock rooms. Even in the best cases, police are minutes, not seconds away. You must take action to protect yourself.
Okay. Everybody stay calm. It's probably just a drill.
No, go back, go back.
Oh my god, come here.
If you can help others without putting yourself in unnecessary danger,
It's gonna be okay.
do so.
It's gonna be okay. What's your name?
Lori.
Lori? It's gonna be okay.
If you can't move safely to an exit, get to a room or a confined area you can lock down. Then secure the location.
Secure your location.
Oh my God.
There's somebody shooting.
Everybody stay calm. Remember how we train. Everybody get in this corner, away from the windows. Get the emergency bag from my desk. Help her.
Drywall won't stop a bullet, but there are steps to take to stay safe. Lock or barricade the doors, turn off the lights, move away from any windows, and silence your cell phone.
The other door doesn't lock. Move desks or anything, just block it.
A modern emergency bag can include a first aid kit, gloves, emergency plans for the building, and casualty cards to alert first responders to any wounded victims.
Most active shooter situations are over in 10 to 15 minutes.
Attention Lakeway units, code 3 is needed. Red 245 GSV 417. It's going to be at Alexandria College. Multiple victims down.
Law enforcement's first responsibility when entering an active shooter situation is to stop the suspect, not to render aid to the victims. Medical teams will enter the scene as soon as the suspect is no longer a threat or is confirmed in another location. Silence any cell phones and remain quiet. Do not alert the shooter to your presence.
Sheriff's Department, is there anyone inside?
Red card.
Just hang tight. We'll be back to get you.
Defend yourself.
If you cannot escape the location and you can't shelter in place, you may have to defend yourself as a last resort. Almost anything can be turned into an improvised weapon. Look for something that can disrupt the shooter's ability to see, breathe, or control their weapon.
Psych yourself up, let out a pork right here.
When law enforcement arrives, they are going to be in a heightened state of readiness and awareness, looking for any aggressive movements. So keep your hands visible and follow any commands you are given.
He's a shooter.
What happened? What happened?
Oh, it's just a shooter. I just saw one shooter.
Especially in developing situations, engaging law enforcement, running toward them, reaching for them, even to thank them, could put people at risk.
Surviving an active shooter.
Anybody injured? Two up front.
For more information,
Thank you. Seriously. Anybody have family, fire department, fireman, firewoman? No? Okay, so I can say this then. We jokingly, we love our fire department, okay, but we refer to the fire department as the second responders. Okay, we're the first responders, you know the term first responders. We want to thank the first responders and blah, blah. We always kind of joke with the firemen that, well, I guess they're kind of the second responders because, you know, they wait for us to tell them it's safe to go in before they're coming in. It's like, okay, all right, come on, guys, it's okay. So I'm just kidding, all right? Don't take offense. And if the fire guys were here, I'd say the same thing, and then they would rip back on us and the cops. It's all good-natured fun. But the second responder thing is kind of a new thing that comes out. But if we get hurt, those guys are the first ones to come and help us out, and we do love them. And we do have special medics and firemen and fire ladies that are tactically trained. And perhaps, Steve, if you want to quick 2 minutes on tactical medics that would enter in something like this?
Yeah, so the SWAT team, we actually train with and use, as LT said, tactical medics are called TEMS. And basically, in a nutshell, they don't have guns, but they train with us in all of our tactical training, and they're part of our team. So kind of like think of combat medics. At one time, I don't think we do now, we actually have a doctor. Same thing. He's there when the SWAT team is called. He gets the call, and we have, I think, around 8 TEMs. They rotate. And if you see a SWAT team or the North County SWAT team, those TEMs will be, they'll look a lot like us. They'll have the green, I guess, uniform on, except their patches may say medics, it won't say police. But just so you're aware, for your families and something you can talk about, that they will be with us, and they are 100% medically trained all the way. So
yeah, back when I was on the team, we actually had trauma surgeons that would volunteer to come out and go to our SWAT trainings and come out, and if they were to come in something like this, can give immediate trauma care to trauma patients. It was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. And they were volunteering their time. So that was even cooler. I know it's not a word. I'm just making a joke. Okay, first.
Can I just touch on during the active shooter environment, if this happens to you guys, I just wanted to point out that you may not see all police personnel looking the same. I don't know if you were gonna.
Please. Did
I step on your toes?
Nope.
So you may see people dressed nice like me. You may see. Ties, you know, the whole gamut. You may see like LT in uniform, regular patrol uniform. And then you may see some of our undercovers that you would never in a million years think that they're police officers, but they are. So, and I want to just touch, are you going to cover the whole ask for ID?
Go ahead.
Okay, I'll do that.
Yep.
So just one thing to think about. If you are like that lady that was in the classroom there and she was locked and she slid that red card underneath the door. So if you're presented with somebody coming to the door and saying, let me in, police, 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 it's okay for you to say, no, you're not coming in if it's locked and they can't get in. So you can ask for ID, something that makes you feel more reassured and that basically identifies them as law enforcement or somebody that can help. So if you need to do that by, hey, I need to see your badge, I need to see your ID, because anybody nowadays can go out and buy similar police uniforms, similar gear like that. You're right. The shooter may have armor, he may look like us. You don't know. So I guess the point I'm trying to make is it's okay to say no and check and certify or clarify that those are law enforcement personnel by either calling our dispatch, call the police department, ask for ID, ask for a badge, something that makes you feel better about letting an armed person into the room that you're in. Does that kind of make sense? Okay.
All right.
Sorry, sir.
For a Snickers treat or Baby Ruth, who can tell me the difference between cover and concealment? It was covered in the video. There's a distinct difference between something that is used as cover versus concealment. Anybody? All right, we got a victim over here. Oh.
But concealment is to hide, it doesn't necessarily protect you
Excellent. Yep. Would you like a napkin? You already
Water?
You didn't want any
Water?
more candy. That was very good. That was beautiful response. You can have another candy if you want. Yeah.
We have different flavors.
Okay.
There's
All right.
a lot in here.
That was excellent. That was excellent. So yes, something that will, like drywall. Okay, drywall may hide you from something, but bullets can go right through drywall. All right. So keep that in mind. All right, we're going to keep going here so we can get you out on time. I'm going to only show part of this video. You've probably, if you were subjected to this a couple years ago, I think I used this one, so it may be familiar, but it's really good on just to visualize how to set up in a room or an office and kind of how to take the fight to somebody.
Is given the airline like an average American 20-year-old.
Basically, what we're dealing with here is a last resort survival measure. The active shooter or the terrorist is on the premises shooting people. How would you know, first of all? Well, it's going to be kind of obvious. Screams, gunfire. You know how to recognize gunfire? I don't know if most of you have ever heard live gunfire. It doesn't sound like in the movies. Very important you learn how to recognize gunfire in a crowded environment. We teach that in the program. We'll distinguish between real gunfire and non-real gunfire. You recognize gunfire, you're hearing screams, perhaps you even see casualties or injured people. You see people running away. You are not able to run away and make it. Why would one not be able to run away and escape? Because you're trapped. Now let's talk about responding to an active shooter and the timeliness of it. How long do you think it will take you, all of you, to get off your chair from where you are right now and make it to me? Ready? If you were running for your life.
Seconds.
How many seconds? I guarantee you, top 3. But I don't want to guarantee it. I want you to do it. Boom! Very nice job. That was excellent. I knew I could count on UCI for all this. Guys. Good stuff. Fantastic. Very nice. Now, once again, would you be prepared to do that? Well, guess what? I think so. You're hearing screaming. You're hearing shouts. You're hearing gunfire. Are you going to know it's coming? It's getting closer and louder. This thing is locked down. Sure you will. You'll be ready. But I'm not proposing that you'll wait sitting in your chairs like that. That will be for a surprise entry to that door that will be totally unexpected. Not going to be the case. I will teach you where to stand and how to position yourself so you have a tactical advantage versus a shooter coming to that door. So when he comes to that door, he's not going to go and then come in. Okay? He's coming in. He's looking to kill. He's looking for the target. He won't see these two sides. You have a coordinated action coming on him. One of you, at least one of you, if not both of you, are going to be successful at, hey, again, not putting a handcuff on the guy and arresting him or killing him. No. Stopping him from shooting, bringing him to the floor, and containing him on the floor so he can't continue his violence action. Very simple. Okay? Since we're going to use 2 examples here. One is on this door that has one side only, and then 2 is that door that has 2 sides in the event that you have 2 types of scenarios that come at you. And that's why I use this classroom as well, because there are 2 kinds of door. Now, what will help you, because obviously not the whole classroom needs to be here. Who is going to make contact? The first 2, top, the first 2. So 2 people on each door, on both sides of the door. No, wait, no, yeah, I'm explaining and then I'll call you. Okay, one. Second, what does everybody else do? Where? No, where would you be? In front of him? You just learned a big lesson. When he comes in, he's looking straight ahead. He's looking straight ahead. So safety says anybody who doesn't have a role and many of you shouldn't have a role in this case, get out of the zone. Get out of the kill zone. So go there, in the far corner against the same wall he comes to, or that far corner. Definitely not in front of him. But there's going to be a few of you that are going to be required to do one very important thing that's going to assure the success of those by the door. And that's attracting his vision and attention on them by throwing object and running across the room in the opposite direction, if you can help it, than where the attackers, defenders are going to be positioned at. So if I'm coming here, you don't want me as a shooter to turn and look here, right? What you're going to do, you're going to go like that and throw object running this way. I'm coming this way, bam, that's it. Now how much time do I have, honestly, when I come to that door? 1 second, baby. What? So we're talking, time has now shrunk significantly for the shooter to be able to be shooting effectively. So just practice with me one time the drill. Here, no, come here. One, and then you, right there. Good, good. What will help you a lot is actually push the knee here. Yeah, because that will collapse a lot easier than my entire body, especially from stone. So just aim for the knee. You see that? That's what. Let's try one time. The knee, yeah. Oh yeah, much better. Nice job, nice job. Shots fired in the corridor. Shots fired in the corridor. Nice and safe. Whoa, yes, sir. Right on. So, you okay? So, shots fire. Move, move.
All right. That was pretty good. That always gets everybody fired up. You know, when those two ladies take that guy out, it's pretty cool. That's good stuff. That guy just does a great job real quick in showing you what we're talking about just not sitting there and being victims. Something happens, okay, figure it out. You go figure it out, just move, go do something, get a job, go to work. That's kind of what we say in the business. Like if we go to calls and there's officers standing around, that's something that we say in the business to the newer, younger guys and gals. We see them, hey, get a job. Find something to do something. Don't just stand around with your hands in your pockets. Okay? Same thing. All right, we got to keep moving here. I'm not going to play the Santa Ana School video. If you kind of want to get an idea, like if you have kids and some of the training that's going on with, hey, what's going on? Who's protecting my kids? You can YouTube Santa Ana School Police and District, and they have 3 different videos for elementary, 1 for middle school, and 1 for high school, because it makes a difference as to your kids. If you've got a high school and you've got a couple of the linemen from the football team that can help you overpower this person, that's different than being responsible for 25 little kindergartners that are going to be like kittens that are running around everywhere. Okay? All right, we're going to keep moving here. Do a couple little things, and we'll show you a couple little things. So just to illustrate, you're going to have to take these concepts back and apply them to your workspaces, but for demonstration purposes here today, we're going to use this door, my partner and I, and we're going to pretend that this is the only door in play. So we don't have to worry about those doors or that door. We're only concerned with this door, and because of the sound of the gunfire, we are confident that this guy's coming in this door. So we're going to prepare for it, okay? So what we're saying here is if we know this is occurring, we're going to prepare for it. We're all not going to sit here like we are right now, correct? So do we all want to be here? No. Okay, I know you guys are sharp, and you're like, no, hello. Okay, so we want to get away from here. And remember what the gentleman is saying is, if he's coming in, this is not a good area here. Our attack is going to be launched from right here. So whoever's going to get designated as the contact team will be stacked up here. And everybody else who doesn't have a job, I would suggest for this room, everyone on the floor and laying flat on the rows over here. Okay? And then if there's a brave soul, I would say let's see, find a set of keys or something like that, and say someone would crawl, low crawl up here if you really want to get bonus points. And from this position, okay, Steve's going to be there. He's going to have another guy there. We have a distraction person here who's laying flat on the ground. That door opens. He's going to go throw something over here so that when the person comes in, they're coming in and they go, oh, what was that? And just for a split second, takes their attention here. So it gives them, is that mine? Holy smokes. Yes, honey. No, they're saying I should keep the mustache and it looks wonderful. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Does that make sense? You know, I have 2 cell phones. I hate cell phones. I really do. I mean, I think the cell phones are dragging down our society because we're a bunch of cell phone zombies. But I got to have one for work and a personal cell phone, and I got to carry 2 cell phones. But anyway, back to here. Does that make sense to everybody? That maybe one brave soul is going to, hey, I got the distraction, and they're going to do something over here. All right? Now, let me pick this up before I forget. Get my little Lego policeman on there. Okay. Steve, you're going to be the bad guy. Yeah, let's do it with the rifle. Now, go ahead and go outside like you're going to come in. Okay, so let's imagine that everyone is over here in their hiding spots, lying flat on the ground, because we're using the chairs and the tables as what? Cover. Okay, cover and concealment. Now, realistically, are bullets going to go through the foamy stuff? Yeah, but they could hit some of the metal brackets and stuff in there, so that could deflect and stop some rounds, but it's better than just standing here, right? We got to deal with what we got. So this is kind of tough because I got to hold the microphone as well, so bear with me. Does that actually work? I'm going to do this, all right? Mario, I don't know. I'm trying to work with you, bro. All right. So if he's coming in, and I'm going to be the designated contact. Now we're going to go slow-mo for a minute. But let's say he looks there. Now I got to move, right? I got to bridge this gap, right? So let's come over here, so for purposes of the cameras. So I got to bridge this gap. And now it's time to take the fight to the person, right? So I'm going to launch, right? And if I know all of my coworkers and loved ones are over here, do I want him pointing this barrel in this direction? No. So I'm going to attack, and I'm going to grab that barrel. And if you want to get crazy, when you come in, start off with a headbutt. Okay? And I'm like, oh yeah, right. You will headbutt somebody. Okay? It's okay. Use the crown of your head right to the side, the temple. You might actually knock him out. Okay? If you do it right. Come in, headbutt, and now we're fighting for the muzzle of the gun. And I'm going to try and push him, sorry about the cameras, and push that barrel. I want to keep the barrel pointed over here because it's going to be a fight now, okay? And you may or may not be stronger than the person. We don't know. This is where you need backup. Can't have one person fighting, okay? This is where we need to overwhelm the threat. You don't have to know karate, jiu-jitsu, be a gold gloves boxer. Just overwhelm the threat with brute force. And we're fighting. We're going to start throwing knees, okay, if you have to. Elbows, whatever you got to do. Eyeball, gouge, knees to the groin, all that stuff. All bets are off. Okay? Come on over here, Steve. So if we're in a struggle with the rifle again, also know that somewhere around here is a magazine release button for a rifle. If you can find that button, and while you're struggling, hit that and somehow remove the magazine from the rifle, you've just removed anywhere from 20 to 30 bullets from the fight. Now, we still have to assume that there's one bullet in the chamber, right? So we can't like, woohoo, we got the magazine out. Now this is whatever, hey, I don't care, have the gun, you can have it now. And then boom, there's one round in there still, okay? So don't get lulled into that false sense of, I got the bullets out. There still could be one in the chamber. And one bullet from a rifle like this, devastating. Okay, you will not survive that. And it's going to be loud. If there's gunshots, it's one thing I didn't touch on. Your hearing is going to be affected. Okay, your ears are going to be ringing. So you may have to lip read with people if you've been exposed to high levels of gunfire. It's going to be loud. So the fight's here, and we want to keep the muzzle, magazine, we're fighting, we're boom, headbutts, whatever you got to do. Okay? Make sense? Grab the little pistol. So same idea with the pistol. If he's coming in with the pistol, again, we want to control the muzzle. All my friends are over here. I want the muzzle over here, right? Same thing, fight, woohoo, all that stuff. Elbows. On a pistol, I got it. Somewhere around the trigger guard on a pistol is a magazine release button. If you're familiar with guns or pistols, I'm insulting your intelligence. I apologize, but a lot of people are not familiar with guns, and they don't know that. So if you know that, and this is just a little BB gun, but on any sort of pistol, there's a button somewhere in this area. And if you're struggling for that weapon, if you can somehow just start pushing stuff and trying to rip out the magazine, okay, this is a magazine that's basically in the gun like that. If you can somehow get that out of the gun, now you've removed all these rounds. Same thing with the rifle. Don't be like, woohoo, I got your bullets, neener, neener, and let it go. There could still be one in the chamber. Okay, does that make sense? Good? Hey, you guys are freezing, aren't you? I've seen some people that are like, man, Eric, if you want to bump it up a couple degrees, I don't care. I mean, thank you. I don't want people. We got parkas on over here, and fur, and gosh. Sorry. We're like 5 minutes left, and I'm just noticing people like icicles off their nose and stuff.
Just by a show of hands, out of curiosity, who here is handled fire? Shot fire.
Right.
And is familiar with a fire. Like a kid could take the magazine out, load it up. Might be something where, you know, because what if he drops that fire and then somebody has to know how to use it, pick it up, and maybe eliminate his life if he's, right? Maybe something to think about for shooting.
And we also need to be prepared. Mario, is this okay if I just leave this like this? This is rather convenient. I'm glad I thought of this 5 minutes before the end. Golly. I learn from every show. Active shooters, you got to be prepared. Many of times, they're not going to just bring one weapon. So if you are successful in getting a weapon away from them, assume that they have a secondary weapon, and most likely they will, and because they come loaded to bring the bare arms. I mean, they're bringing extra magazines, tactical vests, body armor sometimes, that sort of thing. So if you do wrestle a gun away and the guy gets back up and is reaching for another gun, can you shoot him? Yes. Okay? Because you can come back and God forbid you do this. Hey, I remember I had to go to that training and we got free pizza and salad and it was great and it was freezing cold in the room, but we got Snickers. But Tigner and Hiley said, hey, be prepared. They might have other weapons. Is that part of your mindset? Yeah. So if he starts reaching, are you thinking he's reaching for another weapon? Is that reasonable for you to think that? Yes. Does it look like he has body armor on? So in order to incapacitate that shooter, where may you have to shoot him? Okay? There's only one place in the body that will bring immediate incapacitation. And we train this in SWAT and snipers. Military trains this. And that's to hit the medulla oblongata. Okay, that's the only, like, where's my medical people? Can I get some amens on the medulla? Okay? But that's basically the brain. That's where you hit that immediate incapacitation. That's why in a hostage situation, if a guy's got a hostage and we shoot him in the shoulder or even in the heart, a direct hit to a heart, there's still going to be some time that person can function. Okay? The only place where it's immediate lights out is a headshot, is hitting the medulla. Okay? All right, we got to wrap this up here. Bottom line. So we're being mentally prepared. We're being prepared, not paranoid. I bring it back to getting on an airplane. When you're still, you just walk through the jetway and you're sitting down, you're doing all your stuff, and they do the safety speech. I never paid attention to that stuff when I was flying by myself. We all kind of tune out, get the last minute text messages in, or get your snacks ready or whatever, and the flight attendants are up there, doing their thing and this and all that. Why are they doing that? Okay, the FAA mandates that that's done every flight. It doesn't matter that you've been on 15 million flights. Every flight that has to be done, because they're mentally preparing you, conditioning you to where if something happened, they hope that you paid a little bit of attention like you did today, and if something happened, you'll revert to your training, even though it was only 45 seconds worth of listening to the flight attendants. But you'll remember, I started paying attention when I started flying with my kids, and that's always fun, right? Flying with toddlers, oh my gosh. But I know now that if the oxygen mask comes down, that I'm supposed to put mine on first and then tend to any children, right? So that's what the FAA wants, and that's exactly the concept and the mission here today as well. Does that make sense to everybody? So if we are mentally prepared and we've thought about it, if something happens, are you still going to be scared? Yeah. Are we going to be scared? Yeah. And then the videos, they say, law enforcement may have a heightened sense of awareness or something like that. What they're saying is, hey, we're going to be amped up. We're humans. We're not robots. Okay, John Wayne used to say courage is being scared out of your wits and saddling up anyways. Okay, so I'm not here to try and convince you that we're tough, cops, 20-year cops and SWAT guys, and we don't get scared and I'll take them out. Hey, I get scared. Absolutely. Steve gets scared, but you know what? We're trained and we have a mission, and we're going to fight through that to go take care of business. Okay? So in the same regard, if you've thought about this stuff, if you've been to this kind of training, if you watched some videos, if you are not prepared, that is when you see panic. That is when you see maybe the lady or the guy that just falls apart and serves no purpose at all in trying to fix the situation. Okay? That's complete disorganization, panic, and chaos. So we want organized anxiety. You're going to be stressed, you're going to be scared, you're going to be anxious. But you know what? John Wayne, baby. John Wayne. I go to more John Wayne references when like a mustache phase. I watch more Westerns too, for comfort. All right. So I go back to this slide. Okay, this is not a repeat. I do this on purpose to bring this full circle, that something has changed in our country to where this is a way to get attention. As sick and twisted as that is. Because at the end of the day, they think this is a way for me to matter. People will know my name. I will be on the news. I might be dead, because I'm either going to kill myself or cops are going to kill me. But you know what? They will know. They will use my picture in PowerPoints 20 years later. Okay? Twisted. But does it happen? Yes. Okay? And remember, the rifle left in the grass, little visual, that it takes a will to kill. Rifle won't do it on its own. And all this like depressing stuff and talking about shooting, all stuff, I'd like to leave you with an uplifting video that will get you fired up and even more proud to be an American and grateful for our military and first responders, which include the firemen, okay? Just kidding. I'm just trying to extend my peace to them. It's okay. No, we love them. We love them. Yay! Get the man a Snickers.
If we look to the answer.
All right, full attention here.
For so many years, we achieved so much, prospered as no other people on earth. It was because here in this land, we unleash the energy and individual genius of man to a greater extent than has ever been done before. Freedom and the dignity of the individual have been more available and assured here than in any other place on earth. The price for this freedom at times has been high, but we have never been unwilling to pay that price. Those who say that we're in a time when there are no heroes, they just don't know where to look. The sloping hills of Arlington National Cemetery, with its row upon row of simple white markers bearing crosses or stars of David, they add up to only a tiny fraction of the price that has been paid for our freedom. Each one of those markers is a monument to the kind of hero I spoke of earlier. Their lives ended in places called Belleau Wood, the Argonne, Omaha Beach, Salerno, and halfway around the world on Guadalcanal, Tarawa, Pork Chop Hill, the Chosin Reservoir, and in 100 rice paddies and jungles of a place called Vietnam. Under one such marker lies a young man, Martin Treptow, who left his job in a small-town barber shop in 1917 to go to France with the famed Rainbow Division. There on the Western Front, he was killed trying to carry a message between battalions under heavy artillery fire. We're told that on his body was found a diary. On the flyleaf, under the heading, My Pledge, he had written these words: America must win this war. Therefore I will work, I will save, I will sacrifice, I will endure. I will fight cheerfully and do my utmost as if the issue of the whole struggle depended on me alone. We must realize that no arsenal or no weapon in the arsenals of the world is so formidable as the will and moral courage of free men and women. It is a weapon our adversaries in today's world do not have. It is a weapon that we as Americans do have. Let that be understood by those who practice terrorism and prey upon their neighbors. As for the enemies of freedom, those who are potential adversaries, they will be reminded that peace is the highest aspiration of the American people. We will negotiate for it, sacrifice for it. We will not surrender for it now or ever. We are Americans.
Now, if you're not fired up after that, I don't know. There's nothing I can do. Isn't that good? Anybody seen that before? Nobody? Wow, that's really cool. President Reagan, man, I wish he could just be like our president forever, you know, kind of stuff, but I won't get into politics. What a guy. And if you've never been to his library in Simi Valley, some of you probably have. If you haven't, you got to go. It is so close to us. I mean, it's only an hour away, drive. You take the train. It is incredible. Okay, it is absolutely incredible. Every American should go to that. They have a full-size Air Force One in there. You get to walk through the plane of the president, a helicopter. They have all kinds of stuff. It is so worth it. I strongly encourage you to do that if you get an opportunity. All right. I'd like to, again, thank you for the opportunity. Rachel, who's not in, hi, Rachel from D.C. I don't know if she's watching or is going to watch it, but Rachel put this together along with Patty, and Diana, who Diana couldn't be here because she's not feeling too well. So hi, Diana. I don't know if she's watching or not, but those ladies put this together for your benefit. Thank you to Eric, Mario for your help in setting up, and Tom. Tom saved the day at the end there. Tom, you got all the Snickers you want. Thank you to my co-star, Detective Hiley, over there. And thank you. Appreciate it. That's it.
a Whopper.
Oh, no Whopper?
No Whopper. I actually want to make sure that we give him another round of applause because it was great training. Thank you. That's awesome. Thank you, FOF. Thank you, IHA and FRC. I hope you guys enjoy this. And again, thank you guys.
Thank you. Do they get to go home for the rest of the day, or they got to stay? No? I tried. Sorry.